I don't have shoulder parts, but I'm very zippy. Oh, you forgot to. Oh shit. We got it! We got it! Oh shit, he's still flying around? Oh fuck. No, I thought I was dead too, dude.
That's nothing now. Oh, punch it.
Might have been me.
Bro. Thought I was toast. Come on now. Come on now. I eat toast. I'm doing it. Got him.
Good shit.
Hey, boys.
Out. Okay, I got it.
And I'm dead.
Fucking guy.
Happy Monday morning. I just woke up out of bed and I know I'm late to the game here, so figure I would go ahead and start and do this rating. A lot of people had some interesting takes on it, because I bookmarked a bunch of people's ratings here, people that I like. So all right, let's pull it up here. So we'll start with Val's opinion here. I liked his take on it. He has another age at S rank. I love that. I love that. I feel like that game gets so much hate. I understand the mission hub is annoying, but everyone likes the bosses, right? But I think that was I don't think they had the arena in there. But it's definitely S rank. He's got Ninebreaker at A, Verdict A 5th gen, Armored Core 4, and Last Raven. It's good. Silentline's at B, kind of shocked. Armored Core 3's at B, you know, the 1st gen. I'm not gonna go over 1st gen. I mean, put those where you want. I haven't played them since they came out, so dude, they were great games, but I can't do that. So we got Armored Core Nexus at D, For Answer at D, which is also kind of shocking. Fires Rubicon made it on the list, and Armored Core 2, which is kind of odd because I thought the story in Armored Core 2 was actually very good, especially for the time. I mean, you know, with me, nostalgia is going to probably play a heavy part, but it doesn't matter. Whatever my list is going to be the correct order of things. So, haven't finished played yet. This is Cinnamon Lint. They got Ninebreaker and Formula Front at the bottom. You just leave Ninebreaker there. Should put Armored Core 6 back in there. Go to 2, 1st gen Nexus. Yeah, I mean, looks good. Looks pretty solid. You know, I like Brooklyn's list. I like Val's list. T's list. T's funny. That is pretty close to a solid list. I mean, pretty close to a great list. Let's see, we got Varro. They got 1st gen at top, which is kind of shocking. It kind of makes me want to play the 1st gen again, because it's been like, you know, 20 years. Crazy. And then we have 3. Ninebreaker made it up to A. another age is down to B. I think Ollie Barter hit another age at D, and then he put For Answer at D, if I'm not mistaken. I forget. I saved his list, but it's way down. He made this a little while ago, I believe. They have Alnico. Did not like 5th gen at all. 4, another age, and 3 are at S rank. It's pretty solid. Last Raven's at B though, which is kind of odd. Why would you have these up here and you put Last Raven all the way down at B? I know Last Raven definitely had a little twist of a feel to it, aside from the functionality of the game. But we got AM, G4. This is the only option. They put everything in A. And that, you know, respect, but I mean, there is an order here. There is an order here. So you could say S, A, B, C, and F. Or D. People say D or E. It's actually E. I put it as F. That's what it's going to be. We have Celt. Why can't I see his? Oh, he has 2, I think. Talk the Town of Your Mind split, PV on the left and PvP on the right. Alright, so he has PvE on the left and then PvP on the right, so... And great stories. How do you not put Ninebreaker on the right, though, if you revere it that much? I guess the test modes are kind of a fun addition, but... I think that is it. These people are making really cool merch here. They got approval from Software. I really want that. Becky, I really want that. Oh, you can see it. Yeah, the little keyboard, man. It's like a metal, red anodized key. It's great. Anyways, so that's it for that. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make this quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We're going to leave 1st gen at the bottom. It's not going to make it on the list. So, you know, I'll just put everything in B. I'll just put it because I know they're great games. I just don't know how well they hold up nowadays. I've seen them. I've played them. They're great. I mean, standard missions haven't changed too much since then. Maybe besides, well, even they have boss fights too. So we'll just leave them there at B. I'm not really interested that much to replay them. Maybe I should, but we're just gonna keep them at B. So we have Armored Core 2 and Another Age. Armored Core 2, they introduced an overboosting, which will make your AC fly across the screen at the cost of your energy bar. When I got the game, Armored Core 2 is what really got me into the series heavily. And you know, because money was a thing when the 1st gen came out. I didn't have a lot of money to get those games, and they came in later on. But Armored Core 2 was really the gateway drug for me. So yeah, I hold nostalgia to it, but I have played it recently, and it is, you know, I can judge this one fairly. And the overboost, I remember when I first entered a game and you hit the overboost, it was like amazing. It just felt so good to be in a slow, clunky mech, and next thing you know, you're just flying at like, you know, Mach 12 going through like long corridors or across the arena. It was a great way to just reset the gaps too for PvP. So you can just get completely pummeled. I think it had a lot of utility overall. So I definitely put 2nd gen. The story was really good. The Frighteners were great because it was like a gang of ACs that were known as the Frighteners. They were kind of scary in game, and you're like, oh man, when I fight these guys, is this going to be like a crazy fight? You know, it gave you a lot to look forward to, and And when you're going through the other missions, you know, they introduce one of the characters to you, and you're just kind of thinking like, oh man, I gotta fight this guy at some point, you know you do, and you're just kind of, it's just kind of sitting in the back of your head. So and they get into your head in the game, which I thought was really cool. And then we have Another Age. Another Age, you know, this is just the sequel to it, but they had new parts. I really liked the parts they had in 2. I mean, the Kurosawa, the design, the sound effect, the damage. I mean, it was the weapon to use. But you know, of course, it's not balanced. You know, but it was fun to have like just like that strong gun. You know, that you can go over everything with. And then once that got boring, then you would start experimenting with the other weapons and see what the other weapons have to offer. Armored Core 2, I really liked the energy machine guns because you could just pump up your optional parts and just. I say this is going to be fast, and I'm just ranting about Armored Core 2. It's been like 10 minutes already. It's crazy. So, I mean, I would say the energy guns were really fun. They had just amazing capability. It would completely destroy your energy bar doing so, but the amount of damage they did, it was almost worth it. As long as you had that solid lock on. You had a full lock on, not just a partial. So, you know, Armored Core 2, Another Age, really followed that. I thought the missions were mostly not as good as 2, but they were a lot better. The more in-depth missions were better, and then the boss fights at the end were just amazing. So I'm trying not to spoil too much, I guess, for maybe people that want to play the old series. So I want to put it at S, but I can't really. They also experimented with co-op. They tried to have like a co-op mode where you would compete in the mission to see who could get the most points or the most credits for doing all the work, which I thought was kind of weird. I didn't really understand it at first. I'm not sure if I still fully understand it, but they were trying to put co-op missions in the game, which I thought was really cool. And then we go to Armored Core 3. Armored Core 3 Instant C. I thought the story was pretty good. The graphics looked amazing. Oh, let me talk about the designs for 2 though real quick. The designs for 2, I don't know if they could be matched, man. They are like they just scream mecha and in their own unique way that is Armored Core. I just love the designs. Absolutely love the designs. Armored Core 3 in C tier. Why? I didn't like a lot about the functionality of the game. I thought the core weapons were really cool. Them not locking on fully to the enemy was not very cool. I'm sure that was a balancing issue. There's a lot. I think the building options were fairly limited too. If I recall, the stats you didn't really have a lot of options as far as weapons, and essentially weight to energy ratio was kind of difficult to manage. It wasn't difficult, it was just annoying. This is what I remember about the game. It's been a while since I played 3, but I know that they fixed a lot of that in Silent Line, which I will instantly put to S rank, because it was just an improvement overall. I really like the 3rd gen design. I say that I really like the parts design, the aesthetic, but Silent Line really cranked it up a notch. The head parts they added they looked amazing. The new parts, all of them looked amazing. It was such a good game, and it was such a massive step up. I think The story was great. People didn't like the PvP. I thought the PvP was really fun. There were some cheap weapons that you could use, but once you learn that weapon enough, like, there's always a way usually to get around them. Because I remember playing with my friend and we would just play it non-stop, and we were just doing split screen versus mode, just killing each other all the time. And it was a lot of fun. We also did the co-op arena too, so me and him were fighting Shade and Karam non-stop as well. And it was, there were difficult weapons to get over, but it seemed like there was always a way. The velocity of the rounds, even though they did massive damage, you had infinite ammo and it didn't do anything to your energy bars, but the velocity was a lot slower, you know, like plasma weapons. So there's a way to kind of kite them around and be fast enough to deal with it. I'm sure there's always outliers in that regard, but that's what I feel about it. I really like the game overall. I thought it was a masterpiece. The soundtrack was amazing. First gen soundtrack was also really good. Every soundtrack in this lineup here so far is amazing. I have no problems with the soundtracks at all in most of the game. Okay, so we did Silent Line. Now we go to Nexus. I should have put whiskey in my coffee for this one. Now, Nexus is its own special animal. They really ramped it up with the heat. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. This game is... Bro, I hate this game. No, we'll not put it in. We'll put in C. I think it sits fair to be at C rank with Armored Core 3. They felt like equals to me. Great story, great designs, great soundtracks. I think 3's soundtrack was better than Nexus. I mean, so sue me. I really like the dark, brooding type of energy that the third encompassed. And Nexus was really upbeat. If you knew the background of the game, and the story and everything, 3 really kind of encompasses that a lot more than Nexus. Nexus was a lot more... The soundtrack felt like it was more focused on piloting the AC, being a Raven, you know, and it was a lot zestier. But 3 was definitely more metal, more down to earth, more grit. So that's why I kind of preferred that. It was more of a soundtrack. Nexus was more of like an album, if that makes sense. Then we go to Nexus. Obviously, I disliked it, the functionality of it so much because of the heat. The heat really destroyed the game for me. So you go from Silent Line, which was an amazing game, and you go directly to Nexus. The shift at the time was unimaginable. I got the guide, the Prima guide for Nexus before it came out, and I was just staring at the parts. I could not wait to play Nexus. I was the biggest fan before it even came out. And then I played it, and I was like, okay, the slipping stuff kind of on the ground, you know, because before you could kind of, you have better traction in Silent Line, but Nexus, you were kind of sliding a lot more. It was a lot more difficult to gain control of your AC, which was fine. I don't mind little challenges like that to try to get over. That's fine. But the heat functionality of the game, it just depressed me. I went and got a Game Shark to remove the heat because it was so obnoxious. And I never did that for any games my entire life until, well, okay, Nintendo Game Genie, you got me. But Armored Core Nexus, dude, it was terrible. Then Ninebreaker comes out. I was hoping they would fix it. It got better. Well, I'll go into Ninebreaker in a second. But so Nexus, dude. So the story in Nexus felt kind of just all over the place. The Revolutions disc. I mean, it was great. All right, it's hard to understand, but I really liked the missions, but I felt like there was where's the story going? Even Silent Land was a little bit like that too, where the story's kind of like okay, you're kind of just trying to stay on top of it. Nexus just felt like this was all over the place. What's going on? Where am I? What's the next mission? Who am I working for? What's this? You know it, and then you go to the end boss, and then you're even more confused. What is it? I don't want to spoil it too much, but you know, I guess spoiler alert. But you know, what is Nineball? Why does he have gun arms? Why is he like an autonomous unit? What is happening? Why are there these little explodey things everywhere? This is kind of weird, but okay, what's the ending? And then no ending. That was the end. It's like, okay, so they just blew up everything? I don't know. I don't understand. I still don't understand. Maybe I should look up a Armored Core lore video to figure that out. Either way, not a fan of Nexus. Just not a fan. A lot of the missions were cool. They were fun to play, but it was just incredibly mid. It was nice to see Stinger. That was cool. It was disappointing to not see Nineball or Nineball Seraph, especially after Another Age. Why weren't they in the game? They didn't make it to the... They didn't make the cut. It was nice to see the giant robot from first gen. That was cool. But just not happy with how much they advertised it. It's like they tried to make it fail on purpose because they were interested in the game design more and the functionality and the numbers. And I don't think I think Nexus really hurt the series a lot, to be honest. Ninebreaker, they tried to adjust it a little, still had the same problems. They had it was more like a VR arena, which was cool. I thought they could have done... Dude, okay. I thought they could have done so much with Ninebreaker, and it wouldn't have taken them that much. It wouldn't have been a challenge for them to make the adjustments I would have liked to have seen in that game. Mission-wise, test-wise, all that. It's... Although Mayfly had, you know, pretty cool part. I really like the few parts they added. They were pretty neat. It was weird, the green tint on the weapons that they added. I don't know what that was all about. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Ninebreaker. Just kind of more extended, less of a game, more of a test mode for Nexus. Felt like, as I go. Armored Core 4. No. Last Raven. These got all mixed up. I had them all organized and they're all mixed up. I don't know what I did. Okay. Last Raven. That felt like a sequel to Silent Line. They did everything right. You want to compare soundtracks? Go ahead. Silent Line's... I mean... Last Raven felt very much like Nexus, cranked up to 11. Like, beyond what's pleasing, I would say. Doesn't mean it didn't have great tracks. It had some great tracks. But given the mood of that game, the mood and the position, everyone's fighting, everything... What are these tracks? You know, they were just really, really bizarre. That's just for the sound for Last Raven. Okay, let's move on to... what should we move on to? Parts design. There were so many parts. Parts everywhere. The best looking parts. I sound like Donald Trump. But it was great. I mean, they looked cool. They had all different types. Some of them way too drainy. Obviously meant for very specific builds, maybe, but I think they could mostly be avoided, from what I recall from people talking about. But I just loved all the parts. All the head parts looked so cool. They look so awesome. The new Last Raven head part was kind of interesting, but it wasn't bad. It was still pretty cool. It was very unique, and that's all the parts in 3rd gen overall had a very unique look. However, they all look like they were manufactured by the same technology. If that makes sense. The same era of technology, which I will go into later. So, Last Raven, probably my favorite game. I'm still playing it. I mean, it's just a fun game. If you like 3rd gen, but you don't want to play all the games, if you want to try 2nd gen, you want to try the other gens, that's fine. But if you're not concerned about story or anything, I'd say just jump in Last Raven. Just jump in it. All the parts are good. Heat's toned way down. It's very manageable. Parts will still do heat damage. People talk about how hard it is. When you don't have all the parts, I'd say it's very difficult. When you do have the parts, I would say it's not that bad. It's not like a Souls-like. It can be sometimes. If you're stubborn about your build, like me, you will be struggling back and forth on missions, but it's much more rewarding when you actually overcome your obstacles in that mission and beat it. So Last Raven is the game. It feels like Armored Core the most out of all the games. And there's no debating that. That's S-Ring, 100%. I don't care about your PvP builds or your balancing. Those are toppings. Okay. Armored Core 4. 4th gen was so weird, and that's when the community was dividing itself on the forums, which was chaotic. That's when I left the forums. I was like, okay, it's getting too much now. I can't. Because we just used to like the new expansion for 3rd gen, and we would talk about it, stuff that was way easier to manage. Now 4th gen was just like, dude. And the Nexus and Ninebreaker, there's a lot of bickering online about the jump on those games when they came out. That's when it started getting bad. Then 4th gen came out, I'm like, forget it. 4th gen though, I would say, let's put Armored Core 4. Now, when we were waiting for 4th gen, we got the intro video, I think, at the Tokyo Game Show, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was something else, I forget. But there was you see Noblesse Oblige, which I think at the time was actually White Glint. It's a different design, and he's using the same head part and the same arm weapon as White Glint. Check this out. But you see him destroying a whole bunch of 3rd gen starter ACs, which is part of the theory of why I think all the times or all the generations are connected. And then you see 4th gen connected to 5th gen, and so forth. And then there's some similar designs from 6th gen to 2nd gen, which is odd with the ships and everything. So very, very well could be connected. Everyone has their reasons, and they go, oh, well, the lore says this. The lore says, well, go ahead and believe the corporations, man. Go ahead and read any of their propaganda they put out. Go ahead and believe Rad and and AIs, and go ahead and believe what they say, dude. Don't listen to what your eyes are seeing. Anyways, so 4th gen came out. It was cool. The boost movement was fast and everything. It had a lot of energy behind it. And at this time, gaming was changing as well, because it was on the 3rd gen console, PlayStation 3, and the 2nd gen Xbox 360. So that was all moving very, very quickly. Everything was a lot faster. There were, I want to say, that was the state of gaming. Everything was moving faster, quicker, more things were happening. They could do that, and if they just kept up with doing more third-gen expansions, even though they could do it more detailed and add more parts and add bigger areas and add more modes, whatever. I think everyone would prefer. 4th gen was following suit. So I would put, but they pulled it off well. I think they did a great job with 4. It felt fast, it felt fun spinning and turning. You didn't feel like you were a sitting duck at certain moments. You were firing off a lot of weapons simultaneously now. You didn't have to switch weapon between just one or two. You had you had access to 2 all the time. So I would put 4th gen I'd put 4th gen as C tier. I had more fun than that. I'd put it at B tier for sure. It's definitely better than 3 and Nexus, I'd say. Even though the graphics were cool, the soundtrack was good. Everyone loves 4th gen soundtrack. They say it's the best soundtrack. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. I think 4th gen and For Answer's soundtrack is like on par with like Last Raven. Okay, it's the same thing. Same thing I discussed, just a different. Gives you a different feel than what's actually happening in front of you. Without fully committing. So, I mean, how can I explain that? Like, you can be in a post-apocalyptic scenario with those kind of, maybe it was the style they're going for. I wasn't big on it, because if that kind of style of music going behind that, you kind of need some elements of the story to reflect that with the soundtrack, and I think that missed every single time with, a lot of it with For Answer, some with Silent Line 2, Nexus, 4th gen, Armored Core 4, For Answer. It missed the mark. Not necessarily bad songs, but for a soundtrack for that game, for that story, completely missed. Huge miss for me. As soon as I was listening to all the tracks and stuff, it was put me in a weird mood. I turn the music off, play my own music. Listen to techno or some metal or something that goes way more with the game, way more with what's going on in the story. So I have my own soundtracks for those games. Last Raven was good and bad. That was one I would turn off and on. And then we follow with Armored Core For Answer. Well, let me talk about multiplayer, I guess. I didn't do multiplayer too much. This is when I was kind of getting burnt out on it. It just felt a little too sweaty, I guess, with the builds and stuff, which I kind of saw coming, but that's fine. I never really had a problem with it. Just not something I really liked partaking in that much. 4, it felt like I was always running my AC dry and other people were just doing loops around me, which is hard. I never really shared or chatted much with people. I would just try a few matches and just go, and move on. But that's fine. People really like the balancing of it from what I hear. That's fine. That's great, man. I hope all 7 of you had a great time. We got For Answer here. For Answer, gosh, I don't remember if they did have that for 4. Maybe they did. I don't remember. But For Answer, I can strongly put this up here. People put that down low at like F or C. I don't agree. I think that's I mean, I think people forget sometimes it is a game. Not everything has to rely around multiplayer balancing. That is what ultimately ruins games, in my opinion. I don't care about your multiplayer balancing. Would it be nice to have everything perfect? Yeah, but you know, if you know, in all these past titles we've been going through, let's say 4, like my own personal experience, I know not everyone had that experience, but I felt like I was always just struggling for energy. Not that I wasn't just wasting it, you know. I beat Last Raven, you know, I S-ranked all that, you know. There was I just didn't feel right. I was like, why can't they give us a little more? At For Answer, they gave us more than what we wanted, I think. But then we have you know, Last Raven and stuff. These games, the energy consumption wasn't bad. Armored Core 2, hard to tell. I was using Human Plus a lot. But I'm sure it wasn't that bad. It's not like your AC would completely overheat. But yeah, I think you know, it's a game first and foremost. And after struggling with looking for energy, especially after Nexus and Ninebreaker, where you felt like you were getting completely robbed of energy, Last Raven was better, but even then it was just on the brink. I think Last Raven was perfect. I think Armored Core 4 was just a little bit below. That might have been part of the reasons, because you were flying around and dashing and dodging a lot, so they want to probably taper that down. But For Answer just gave us everything. They gave us a great story. For a story, it was okay. I really liked Supplice. I thought that was a shame we had to fight him, because he seemed like such a cool dude, even though we were opposed. But the story didn't feel too great. The missions felt like they were their own story. The overall story didn't feel like there was much there. For Answer, felt like there was a full solid story. You felt like you were in a super mecha that was just smashing around, just doing what it wanted. It was a machine. You had power, you know. It was very cool. Fighting the armed forts, I did it 100 times. I'm still, you know, I just played him not too long ago, like maybe 2 years ago. Still terrible, but it's still fun to do. It's still fun. Flying in on the VOB, going after the armed forts is just, I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was just, you could do co-op with a friend. I had a friend who was really into the series. I kind of muscled him into the series, and he actually really liked it himself. Then I just let him play it, and then he really enjoyed it. So we did a lot of co-op missions and stuff, and I got to help him with that. His exact words to me for Answer was, that was the best action game I've ever played. So, to get someone who's not a fan to say something like that, who's an avid gamer as well, and that was his first real Armored Core game. I mean, he's kind of tried the other ones, I believe, but to say it's the best action game he's ever played, you know, that's a statement in itself. I think people get a little too into themselves when rating For Answer. I think it doesn't get enough respect. With the energy, there's just no constraints. So what? Let people have fun. You know, like I get it. I understand, dude. I think there's too much energy too, but at the cost of what? everything else in that game was great. The final mission was also a lot of fun. The good and evil storylines you could take seemed pretty clear for the most part, which were really cool. It had the arena. You could 1v1 any of the ACs, even though it felt super easy. But I think as far as a game to play for fun, to escape into, it was a very good game and highly underrated. If you just want to play a mech game just to have fun, you see the animes and you want to just kind of do the same thing, France is your game. It is definitely your game. And when you tune the stats and look at the stats and try to make the most ridiculous machine possible, you can make absolute abomination, which is also a very fun aspect of the game. But yeah, it obviously major balancing issues, but in the player's favor, in the average player's favor, 1000%. So I definitely put it at A. All right, and then we go to 5th gen. Now, 5th gen, I was on, like I said, I was on 360 for 4 and for Answer, and then we get 5th gen. 5th gen came out. It was really hype. We had the Nero Doomsday song with the commercial. It was like, oh, this game's gonna be cool. I wasn't impressed with the gameplay footage from that either, but it was getting me hyped. I saw the Japanese trailer with the what is it, the AC Vengeance chain blade. That was really cool. That's what really sold me on it. The game came out. The movement was really. I went to the options. It said, "Do you want the assists?" I said, "No, do not give me assists." So I removed the assists. I started piloting it. Within 5 minutes, I kind of had everything down on how to move or how to control it. And from there, I was struggling. Even though I knew how to move the AC, I was struggling so bad to get through the missions. I was getting very frustrated. And it felt like, I felt very much like I didn't know what I was doing. Which I kind of did already. I understood the controls. I understood the controls, but I didn't fully understand the movement amongst the building process as well. The building process is an important part to understanding 5th gen. And once I started to understand that more, it just became my favorite AC genre, I think. I mean, I want to say Last Raven, but 5th gen really kind of expanded my mind and what's possible for an AC game. And the parts design, even though it was so far different from 3rd gen. Oh, I never talked about 4th gen parts design. I talked about the actual parts, but I never really went into detail about their aesthetic or the enemies or nothing like that. So real quick, 4th gen, you have, I mean, White Glint, you have supplies here. They looked amazing. They looked like the evolution of an AC from 3rd gen. They're a little bigger, a lot faster. They just look a lot meaner. You know, you look at the White Glint head and you put it next to the Sky, or what was that head called? Not Sky. Was it Red Eye? No. Any of the eye part heads from 3rd gen, you can see the difference. 4th gen, really, they looked a lot meaner, a lot tougher. which was cool. I mean, that helped carry the water for the rest of the game, which I really like 4th gen's parts design. Overall aesthetic, I still like 3rd gen more than 4th gen. But 4th gen definitely came in and demonstrated this is the new AC and this is what they do, and looking at it, that's what you believed. But 5th gen, I thought the parts, I remember initially looking at the parts like, what is this game now? And I just started really liking the parts designs. They actually had similar designs to Armored Core 2 Another Age. They had the same head parts. I will show you if I can.
It's not an easy job, but you're the only one who can do it. Let's go. Time is of the essence.
I mean, what does that look like? I mean, come on. The game was just a masterpiece. The soundtrack was amazing. The enemies were a lot of fun. The defense types was a great change. Or addition. Everything about the game really felt like Armored Core. You had the mercenary mode, which if you didn't have a team or you were on a team and you wanted to maybe infiltrate another team, the levels of espionage in Armored Core 5 was insane. You could potentially make an alt account. It's happened. Alright, I played on Xbox 360, so I don't know if PlayStation users had the same experience, but 360 users were ruthless. They were doing everything in their power to sabotage and burn the other team. They would get in, pretend to be a teammate, and they would cover shifts of watching those territories. And after a couple days, they would just all of a sudden one day burn down everything and let their team come in and reap the rewards. And it would work, but the other team would be better, so then they would end up just coming back and taking it back over. But there was a lot of back and forth with that, so then teams became very paranoid about who they let in. I think our team, we let in, I forget the name of our team. We weren't like a big team or nothing, but we were significant. We were controlling the desert when the game first came out, which is a lot of fun. That was like definitely one of my favorite maps too, in the whole series. But I was like an expert at burning down that base, even with other teams on me. I could destroy enough weapons to avoid the other team completely, all by myself. I feel very proud of myself. This is like, it's probably like my prime for gaming period, and I would burn down the bases and avoid the ACs completely, and it was a lot of fun. And this was the, oops, where is it? I was gonna play it over again. Yeah, so I mean, there was just so many, I guess it's right here, you know, obviously. I mean, that's the machine that I was using, and it was a piece of junk, you know. It wasn't super mega tuned. It was tuned fairly well, but yeah, it was pretty weak to energy, as you can tell. Oh no, it was decent against energy. It was, well, no, 5th gen it was weak to energy, and Verdict Day it was weak to but everything lightweights usually work weak to energy anyways. Yeah, so it wasn't easy, but I was just playing for fun, and I had a really good time. I managed to do a lot of cool things with that machine. I did defeat 4 people by myself. My team broke up at a certain point. I was playing by myself. I wasn't taking the game as serious as other people, so it was hard to join the more top tier teams, you know. So I figured I'll just play by myself, you know, and burn down people's bases for fun and act as a mercenary. And that's another thing that you can do great in Armored Core 5 was you had an option to be a mercenary, which is the whole point and story behind almost every single AC game is you're a mercenary for hire. And if you're a mercenary for hire, these other teams will look and they'll like, we need to fill in a 3rd or 4th person. Let's get a mercenary or 2. And you would get hired. And you would have levels of pay. And they wouldn't care about paying you the max amount, which I thought they should be able to negotiate a little more with. And I think the jobs themselves should be... I think it would have been cool if you can get hired and you can sit your AC on a base for like 20 minutes, you get X amount of dollar. So sometimes you would sit on a base for like, 20 minutes and nothing happens. Boom, payday, you're all good to go. No repairs, nothing. But sometimes you're sitting there 20 minutes and then you get invaded by like 2 AC. That would be cool. Everything that would range between that. But it was good enough. 5 had. You would sit there in the test mode area just waiting for a contract to come in, and then it would have the team's emblem, and then it would have what you're doing, where you're going, and it was a lot of fun. So people can hire you for the missions and stuff, or they can hire you to do the story mode. And the story mode in 5 had a lot of long missions, and sometimes people needed help for those long missions. So, for someone who did have a hard time finding people to play with, I know based on what I said before, play with friends, but they would get into it for a while and then they would move on to other games. And that's fine, but I was a weird, obsessed Armored Core person, so I always had to play AC. So whenever I got to play with other people in like a co-op setting, I just loved it because I could be there and assist them. I know when to kind of let them go off and fight that guy, and they'll be okay. Or I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna kill him, I better jump in and try to get try to taunt him, get aggro, But it was it was so much fun going with people in those long missions and just watching other people experience it. And then you make some money at the end too. I think you used to get like a ton of money for doing the missions, if I'm not mistaken, for co-op mode. You used to get, the payouts were just ridiculously good, or they were really bad. It was one or the other. There was no in between. But it was so fun for me. 5 was so much fun. The soundtrack, the vibes. Everyone had their emblems. The main takeover was the indies. They held the game down for I think the first year, or almost first year. I forget the other team that's kind of more popular, and they kind of took it over, of course, because you can't hold something down forever. But yeah, the indies, they had the original Armored Core 2 indies emblem, which were like the rebel group in Another Age, which I thought was really cool. I tried to join their clan. They're like, "No, get out of here, scrub." I was like, yeah, because I never took the game that serious, But I took my build a lot more serious in Verdict Day, because it felt like there was more challenges. They still had the mercenary mode. It seemed like it wasn't popping off as much as it was for 5th gen. Forget the original Armored Core 5 did have bosses introduced later on, and they did have AI introduced as well. But they were just general units. They weren't nothing you can customize. I don't think you can customize. I think that was only Verdict Day, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there was so much. Yeah, this is a real quick video. An hour and 10 minutes in. Oh my god. So I'm gonna have to chop this thing up. This thing's gotta get chopped. But there was comparison was Verdict Day to 5. Verdict Day just seemed like it was missing the mark on a lot of other issues. Like they think they were fixing it, but it was really just kind of making things a little bit more difficult. The problems they were fixing were, what was the one? They were trying to fix the factions and stuff, and I didn't like that. I did not like the factions that we would side with, and I hated that. It felt like it took all the it felt like it took so much away from 5th gen. It just really bothered me. 5th gen I'm putting at the top. But the Verdict Day, it just seemed like there was... I did not like the espionage elements in Verdict Day nearly compared to 5. 5 was so personal, and there was so much discourse between your teammates. But, I mean, dude, it was crazy, man. It was just... It reached levels like I never thought possible, man. I mean, it was like literally government style. I mean, as far as I know, I'm not part of the government, but I mean, it was like government style espionage, and it was just glorious. And I mean, 5 was just, it was such a blast, dude. It was such a blast. Verdict Day felt like it just hit the mark on a lot of different things. I didn't like a lot about it. The story mode and the gameplay and the additional parts, major wins. The weapon arms, I didn't think weapon arms could be cool until I played Verdict Day, and I was wrong. I'll say I was wrong. Weapon arms are actually cool, because I mean they transform and stuff now. It was just so gnarly. The story was okay. I didn't talk about 5 story. Forgive me. 5 story was kind of weird in the beginning. You're like, what's going on? But whatever it was, it doesn't matter because it was overshadowed by Chief. Chief was just probably the best written Armored Core character, voice actor, nuisance you can run into in a game. He's like the Mad Bomber of the story, and it was just so much fun, like seeing what he was gonna do next and stuff, and listening to his quotes and everything, quoting them. It was great, dude. I love Chief. And his AC was cool as fuck. Okay, there's no AC design I think that goes harder than Chief's AC. I honestly don't think so. Out of all the gens, all the ACs, all the combinations you could build, I think Chiefs goes the absolute hardest. Especially when the motto for Armored Core 5 was come heavy or not at all. And that was true. Another thing about 5 is the weapon balancing, I guess. That they were hinting at something. Everything, the poster, the back of the box, the commercial, everything said, come heavy or not at all. And they were not wrong. If you were a lightweight in 5th gen, you were cannon fodder. You were cannon fodder. I think that's one of the hard parts I had about learning it, was I was piloting not a featherweight, but I was like a medium lightweight, more leaning lightweight designed AC, and I would just get utterly annihilated in so many different things. And I really my build got really good at the end of 5, and then they changed everything. I used recon jammers, but not in the way you think. I wouldn't try to kite people into like a one-shot melee with the jammers. I know that's what people do. That's what certain people on Twitter or X do. But what I did with recon was I used that as a way to get around and try to get behind the enemy, because then I could start attacking their weapon stations, which would cause them to go into a panic, which would cause then my team to move forward and take over. I used it more a lot more of like a overall strategic sense instead of just, oh, I'm gonna hide behind this building. I'm just gonna wait for the perfect time. I'm gonna go out and kick him and one shot him, you know, like I've seen so many people do. I'm not hating, dude. I mean, you play the game to win, right? But it's not something that I was necessarily trying to do. If I wanted to do that, I would just slap on an ultimate weapon and go in and just pile one of my teammates and the enemy at the same time. That always seemed the most effective, most of the time. Sometimes it would be just my teammates. Another thing is the other aspect to multiplayer in 5th gen was recon mode. And let me bring this back up here. Recon mode. So this is kind of how recon mode goes. These would be your crosshairs in the middle, the red square with the green dot in the middle. That would be your mouse or your controller joystick, and you'd move that around across the map. And you would see, you know, the enemy would be on the right side that's defending, and your team that's invading would be on the left side, and they'd be trying to push forward and destroy units or destroy all the AC units. And the defenders have to push forward and destroy all the attackers or defend all their units until time runs out. Now, the important thing about the 5th gen's game mode is you would have 4 players, 4 attackers, and you had the option to have a 5th that would perform recon. So they would be looking at a map like this, looking at everything that's happening. They'd see their teammates. They wouldn't know where the enemy was, but they would ping the area with radar and try to pick up where the enemy ACs are. And once they see the enemy, he can mark them. As long as they're still within the range of that ping, he can mark that enemy unit. And he would go back and forth communicating where the enemy is and where they're moving. Oh, this guy's got low health. He's in the back. You know, I'll ping him for you, you know, or oh, they're all moving to the right, da-da-da-da-da. They're all, you know, they're like, oh, we don't know where he is. And they go, oh, they're all moving to the right. They're going to go forward under the tunnel and then try to pop out and attack all at once or something. You know, there were so many options. It was like an RTS for mecha in a multiplayer game setting, which I've never played any kind of functionality for a game that never felt so much like it's a preview of the future for gaming. This is the future of gaming, is what 5th gen was doing. There's going to be specific roles, and they're gonna just wait. I that's what I firmly believe. There's going to be specific roles for people in these little fake wartime scenarios. That it's just going to be really cool. Anyways, that was a very underestimated role in this game, and sometimes you would see. So you got to be careful of mercenaries too. Sometimes you'd hire a mercenary, and next thing you know, you're fighting up against a team, and you got your 3 guys in a team, and he's bringing an ultimate weapon. Well, you better watch your ass, because he can just go back behind you and just blow you all up. So the levels of espionage were just so good, dude. It was so much fun. I think Verdict Day really kind of ruined it. They didn't remove it, but they just kind of ruined it. Anyways, that's enough about 5th gen here. Verdict Day I don't think was as good. The soundtrack, so Verdict Day's soundtrack, I mean, some of those menu songs, dude, were so fucking annoying. It drove me crazy. I don't know. They were terrible, man. The menu music was horrendous. Compared to 5, it was an atrocity. I hated it. I hated everything about the menu music in 5, or in Verdict Day. And I loved everything about the music in 5. Especially that emergency sound when you get an invader. It was 5th soundtrack was just night and day to 5. However, there were specific tracks in Verdict Day that completely cleared every other game, every single one. And that almost brings me to want to put Verdict Day at S rank, dude. It is so close to go to S rank, but I gotta go to A. It's definitely better. These aren't really in order. Let's see. For answer, yeah. I'll put it there. Verdict Day was good, but it was no mercenary chaos. It did have the boss modes, okay. It did have the boss modes. Which, you know, we're good. But I just gotta put it at A. It was fun. I really want to put it at S, but I think it's gotta just belong at A. I really looked at 5 as overall as a game better than Verdict Day. Let's see, Formula Front. I think we can do this quick. Formula Front was really cool. Oh, the AI. I know. Oh my god, I think I gotta put Verdict Day at S, dude. I forgot about the AI. It's gotta go to S. The AI in that game was just insane. The building in Verdict Day was just completely insane. Almost too much, which almost makes me want to bring it back down to A, but you want to look at something crazy, look up AI builds on Verdict Day and see what comes up, and you'll see what people are making. You can make a complete AI team and then just recon it and tell it what to do, and you can actually fight against players and beat the players, which is very on par for the story. Yeah, but I'm putting let me see if these S ranks are in order. And we'll do something weird here. Third gen is in order, 5th gen is in order. I can't compare the two. They're two completely different genres, but they are definitely at the S level. But Formula Front, I want to put that I will put that at a solid B. I could put it at C. No, it's better than this. It's better than 3. Formula Front's better than 3. It's like a portable, make your own AI, and you can also pilot the AC. I don't know if you guys know that. You can also pilot it. So it is an arena style game like Ninebreaker, but without the punishment of the heat, which is nice. So I really like that aesthetic, the decals, and the more of like a competition. Really felt like an arena, as opposed to just a VR mission test mode. They could have made it not a VR thing and made it an actual mission test mode, maybe with people gambling and betting on you, and then have like a little dialogue with that. That would have been really cool. And then have Nineball be like the actual pilot that's like the regulator for that. That would have been a neat little story. Anyways, that's irrelevant. I think Formula Front had a lot of replayability, and it's a way for people that can play that are not, say there's a tournament and I have to go to work, and they're running another Formula Front tournament. I forget the streamer that runs it. I would totally shout him out right now, but yeah, he would I would say you know, okay, here's my build, here's my design. Go ahead, let me know how it does. And you go to work and you come back. Oh, it came in 3rd place. Like, oh, sick. You know, it's really has a unique vibe to it that I think goes unappreciated. And it has a lot of functionality that goes beyond a lot of the other games, I think. I'm sure I'm gonna get plenty of hate for Armored Core 3, but I don't care. When I got Armored Core 3, I played it and I beat it, and I was trying to consistently play it. I was just like, I'm going back to Another Age. And I went right back to Another Age and just continued to have a lot of fun playing those boss fights. I don't think 3 there was like one boss fight. Even then, it wasn't even that crazy. It was just a big floating building. Anyways, the other games have more to offer than 3, man. I'm sorry. 3 was a new gen. Respect to the new gens that come out. They have to kind of experiment a little bit and see where they land. So much respect for 4, much respect for 3. 5 hit it out of the park. Of course, the Gatling, I mean, there had its problems, man. The Gats were just out of control when it first released. But it was, they were way overpowered. But when they started balancing it and getting things a little better, it was still a lot of fun. Even with the Gats, even when you're done, it was still a lot of fun. So that is every title here. I think that does it here. That's, looks like that's everything. So, so yeah, that's the end of the video. And that's my rating of the games. I'll go ahead and post it Twitter or X and let people know. I'm late to the game because I did want to make a video, but I've just been having a lot of personal things happening lately, and it's been very tough for me to keep up and stay on top of it all. So please forgive me. And I really wanted to look at everyone's takes and kind of go over it too, because that's a lot of fun for me. I love reading that stuff. I love that stuff. And Cleric had some really good takes too. He broke it up into 2 versions, which was cool. But mine's the right one. So, but yeah, no, I really liked Cleric's breakdown of it all, and he had a good video, or he had a good stream about it. I was there watching a stream about it. He's a good dude. Go support his channel. He's like the face of Armored Core, and we couldn't have picked someone better for that. So yeah, that's about it. So we'll go ahead and end here. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we'll finish this. Armored Core 6, dude. I've yet to do a review of this game. I've been wanting to, but I know it's just going to take so much time. But this game, I didn't know this game was coming out, and it seemed like just From Software just shot it up out of their you-know-whats, and it was going to be released. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, a new Armored Core? What is going on? What have I been missing? You know, it's been 87 years since I played Verdict Day. And, so, I mean, credit to Armored Core 6, man, because when we were waiting for the release of it, I was playing Verdict Day, and I ended up getting the achievements thanks to some peeps, and fought the bosses and stuff. That was a lot of fun to relive Verdict Day and get to do that online on my stream. I really appreciate Armored Core 6 for that. But other than that, Armored Core 6, the main issue with that game is it's Dark Souls, man. It's Dark Souls, okay, dude. It is a Dark Souls test bed. It is super different, okay? Let me talk about what I liked about it. I liked that movement, not the actual movement and controls of the game, okay, but the way the ACs kind of moved. It really felt like cinematics from Armored Core 3, Silent Lion, and Last Raven. That's what the movement in 6 looks like.
which I thought was really cool and very much on par for Armored Core, and kind of what they've been shooting for just that feel and that look of the motions. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I like about it. I'm serious too. I really did not like Armored Core 6 at all. Armored Core 1, besides online arena, Armored Core 1 is the same as Armored Core 6. They didn't add anything except graphics and I mean, seriously, maybe Armored Core 1 has more parts, if I recall, but that's just so crazy to me. I played that game. It has the Arm Fort. Ooh, okay. And it has the little what is it? A little toaster dude. Anyways, you know, the boss fights were cool. Sea Spider's awesome, okay? I like Sea Spider very much. All Mine, I didn't like the parts. I didn't like the design of the... Take that back. I love the design of the parts. The concept art for the parts is very, very cool. I think it was they were drawn beautifully. The design is like, whoa, very, very stylish, very unique, stylish. But for an Armored Core, they look like they're designs for like bosses that you would fight in 3rd gen and 4th gen. And and not in a good way. Not like, you know, Ibis or frickin' Nineball Seraph, or, you know, they look all like distorted, weird. This side's gonna be like raw, and this side, you know, like the white glint head, like, or J head or whatever that is. Like the thing looks like it was missing a few chromosomes. I don't like what is going on with the parts there. That they look so weird. And then that style of legs, the Cougars from Nexus, or was it Last Raven? I forget which one calls them Cougars, but or Cougar 2s. They all are trying to emulate that, and none of them pulled it off. I think the closest one was the one that was it 621's dad, Walter. The one that he used. Those leg parts look pretty cool, but even then they didn't. They look like too much. Looks like too much odd detail. They look like more like Sonic the Hedgehog shoes instead of mech feet. It was weird, bro. I did not like the design at all. No, I like the design. I didn't like that they were Armored Cores at all. They did not feel like Armored Cores. I felt like the MTs almost felt more, they looked more like Armored Cores than the actual Armored Cores did. The difference in design between the designs too, they looked ridiculously different. One's super extremely boxy, and you know, I have a Rob the Robot Nintendo robot over here next to me, and it's like that has more style and is less boxy for a robot than some of the parts in Armored Core 6. It looks just abysmal. I didn't like the parts at all. I thought, okay, there's certain parts like I do like, but I'm just not in love with the designs like I was with 5, like I was with 4, like I was with any of the 3rd gen. Even the bosses in 1st gen looked more like Armored Cores, like Stinger and stuff. I'm a huge Stinger design fan. I love the way Stinger looked. I thought he was so cool. He looked like such a snide jerk for an AC. Is just perfect design for him. But for his character, but dude, Chief, like, you can't compete with that. Chief, you could argue that it looks kind of similar to a 6th gen design, but dude, Chief just went so hard for like a heavyweight that's AI. That design kind of makes sense. And it's cool that you can choose that design in the game. And then you look at the rest of the parts, they do look gnarly, but not deformed gnarly. They look like they're jacked and ripped. They don't look like they're missing a basic hardware. And super fragile looking too. I don't know. They did not look tough. They looked yeah, they just did not look tough, man. The one eye model, whatever it was, overboard on tough. Okay, that thing looks like it's just a solid steel plate with a red eye in the middle. That is just ridiculous, dude. I honestly strongly dislike the designs. I could just go on and on. Gameplay, the stagger mechanic, dumb. You've kind of had stagger already. It's called a cannon. Just kidding, but I don't like the stagger mechanic for mechs. I think it's neat to try. I'd say it's worth the try for sure. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I can imagine multiplayer. Dude, that's not going to be fun. Oh, there's a stagger mechanic for this game that you can mix a million different parts. Now, go out and do multiplayer. Yeah, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm just gonna... I'd rather play Verdict Day and 1v4 teams than do a match of 6. I'm dead serious, too. I swear to God I would. And let's see, they had the arm fort and the toaster boss and sea spider boss, which sea spider was cool, dude, but he was definitely like a commercial cool, like, okay, he's in there for the commercial, right? You know, sure enough. The story was pretty good. It felt a lot more continuous compared to other games, but I think it felt like, oh yeah, make a choice. But it's like, yeah, but there's 3 choices. It's not like, I don't know. I guess it felt like for answer for choices, so it was pretty good. Oh, the worm boss, yeah. Forgot about that. Like, look at the bosses, dude. The bosses were not... I wasn't impressed with the bosses. Giant worm. Okay. Toaster. Okay. Or no, is a bowl of, like, hot ramen what he was. Ramen boss. Neat. He's got these chain blades. Oh, cool. I missed that from Armored Core 5. Oh, good. I got this little small arm-held one. Ridiculous to land hits, and unless you have the right arm part, you're not going to be doing any damage. I had to learn the hard way. I didn't realize there was a melee damage effect on arms. And my favorite arms had the worst melee damage potential. So that sucked. That really annoyed me too. But whatever. That's just great. But Sea Spider was neat. It's like a quadruped without a core and a head, and arms and weapons. So that was cool. And it turns into a big pine cone and floats in the air and shoots lasers at you, which was neat. I mean, I'm not against that. Is that the thing that was firing lasers on us in that first mission? Is that what that was? I think that's what that was. It was a Sea Spider in orbit, and then it got annoyed because it couldn't hit us, and then it came down and attacked us. I bet that's what it was. I'm sure it's explained, and I just overlooked it. But the content, man, I didn't... Oh, Balteus. Balteus is the other one. I said he looked like Stinger. A lot of people said he looked like the mini bosses before you fight Ibis and Silent Line. True, he looks more like those, but those guys were modeled after Stinger. So, I don't know, we're both right, both wrong? Solo's not a boss. Solo is just a jerk. Yeah, the helicopter. Noob filter. He was a cool boss, but why? It's like Armored Core 5, I'm like, why do these helicopters take a bunch of hits? They are ridiculously strong. And then 6 said, hold my beer. And it's like, bro, it's a helicopter, man. Like, that AC can just grab onto that thing and just put a Gatling gun up in there and just take care of business, you know? No problem. It just seems like such a design flaw to me. Was it cool? Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like 6, dude. The story was good, but I didn't like it. Does that make sense? I'm not just talking about the ending either. I'm just saying, like, overall the story, it was good. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the AI companion could have been a lot cooler. I mean, I don't dislike Air, but I don't know. It just... Armored Core 6 feels like... The best way I could describe it, it feels like a reintroduction to the genre for new players. Not the genre, the IP. It feels like a new game for the entire IP for new players. And that's great. If people... And that's the other thing too. Like, if you like playing any of these games... Dude, who's got time to hate, man? I got work tomorrow. I got a bunch of other things to worry about and figure out. I got to go to the gym today, and I hurt my back, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I got other things to worry about, just like you guys do. But I just think it's fun to share my opinion on all this stuff with everyone. And if you enjoy 6, dude, just keep enjoying it. I have no qualms against it. However, there's a certain level that you do have to protect your own fandom, because that's fine. I mean, if you like 6, dude, that's cool, dude. That's great. No hate. But there needs to be like a separate game IP for 6 moving forward than the rest of the series. It's too different. It's way too different, man. I don't want to see an evolution of 6 moving forward. I want to see an evolution of any of the other gens moving forward. Any of them. 4, 5, 3, any of those. I don't want to see 6 move forward an inch. Not an inch. If they wanted to make their own series, dude, cool, that's fine, man. Just let us have our deal, because 6 ain't it, bro. 6 ain't it. And I don't want it to change and affect what everyone else has been so passionate about all these years. I mean, over, what is it, 23 or 28 games? I forget. 28 years, I think. 23 games. That's a long history, and that's a lot, you know. I mean, go ask 40K to change their stuff, you know. Go ask BattleTech to go change their stuff, you know. And good luck dealing with the fans like that. But it's the same mentality. You have to gatekeep at a certain point. I'm all for new players, and I hope anyone that tries 6, I would hope that you guys try the other generations of games. I would hope you try Last Raven. I would hope you try Silent Line. I would hope you try 5 or Verdict Day. Secondary, I would hope you try For Answer. I should put For Answer in front of 2, and I would do this. You know, I would hope you would try For Answer, Another Age, and then 2. And then I would hope you would try the older games. And just go from there. If you're really into the building process, you want complex building, I would say go for Nexus or Ninebreaker. That's fine. If you played Verdict Day and you loved it and it was just perfect, easy for you to understand, you can build no problem and and play the game and you're just a pro, bro, then go play Nexus or Nightbreaker, man. Get out of here. Go play those games, man, because those games are they're definitely a challenge for you. And so's Last Raven. Last Raven's not easy either. But yeah, back to 6. I don't see any content. I don't. You know, where's the co-op, bro? You've had co-op in every game since 2nd gen. You've had co-op in almost every game since 2nd gen. You know, all of 5, 4. Like, why would you, for a game like that, specifically that type of game, why would you get rid of co-op and not include that? That is annoying. Yeah, that is so annoying because anyways, that really annoyed me so much to change my opinion, or not to change my opinion, but to just make me almost hate the game. I don't hate it, but honestly, 5, I hated 5th gen for a while when I first started, and it eventually just clicked, and I just fell in love with it. 6, I keep going back to it every once in a while just to check, and I still hate it. I still hate it. I think the painting in that game, wow, it's so deep, and it's I think it's such a waste of time. It's so much unnecessary painting options. You don't need all that stuff to make it a good Armored Core game. It's custom, yes, but you do not need that many options, bro. One or two options for material or something, sure, like a flat, a shiny, something in between, and then rusted. But instead you got like 40 different kinds. Like, it's not necessary. I hope they didn't waste too much time on that nonsense. And then testing it and making sure it's the right time. I hope they did not waste that much time on this. Then we have, let's see, so co-op, multiplayer, static, level design. Like, oh, long missions. Hardly. They're hardly long missions. Like, if you start from the beginning, you can just fly in and get it done in no time. It's not. They're not even physically that long. 5 was longer, and they were smaller mechs. Well, you know what I mean. They were on screen. It seemed like, well, that would mean that it would be bigger, right? But I'm 5 that was much bigger. It felt like a normal mission was like one of Armored Core 6's long missions. The long missions in 5 were insane. They were insane. Sure, but it's not just one map. Yeah, you load into a different area, sure, but I mean, it just kept going, which was what was awesome, because it felt like you were on a mission. It wasn't you were on a mission to assassinate another AC. You were on just a long mission to fight a war or to get out or whatever it was. Evac missions in Armored Core, I think, are becoming less popular, and that needs to come back. You need to see more escape missions. Those are always a ton of fun. And then you add co-op to the mix. You're asking for fun, so of course you don't put it in 6. But yeah, there was let's see, the missions, the characters were okay, but the characters didn't even feel like they were fully fleshed out. Oh my god, I'm almost 2 hours in. They didn't feel like they were like, dude, the rebels or whatever. Like, I'm like, I don't care if I'm helping you. I'm just making money. But on top of that, like, I don't even know what you're running away from these guys from. Like, it seems too difficult to understand. I didn't like the story at all. Everyone really likes Rusty. It's great. Hey, buddy. I think it's I think Rusty was pretty he was cool, and it was he had a cool AC. He just kind of came off as someone who's trying to be too likable, which kind of makes me second guess you a little bit, you know, but just felt like it was kind of, you know, what's his name from Armored Core 2, the guy that trains you, you know, he's kind of showing you the ropes. He's not being too friendly, but he's like your friend, and then he betrays you. Rusty, if he's your friend or if he betrays you, it doesn't matter. Like there's no, he's too friendly. So if he betrays you, it's like, oh, okay, well I should have seen that coming because you're too friendly. And then, but if he's still your friend, it's like, okay, bro, settle down. I don't know. And I didn't really care for him overall as a character. Didn't seem to be like a lot of depth. Seemed like there was just a lot of glazing him or something. So not a fan of Rust. The old man that was in the Rebels that's helped you, I didn't like him too much either. I liked Carla. Carla was really cool. I really liked Carla. Walter, bro, he felt like your dad, man. He's just monologuing and you're just like just sleeping, just you know what I mean? Like I did not like Walter, but he definitely felt like your dad, bro. He was definitely like mega dad energy from Walter. Snail, everyone hates Snail. I mean, dude was kind of clever. You can't really hate on someone who's trying to be clever and stay on top of the game, right? Red Guns, Michigan. Felt way too stereotypical ex-military drill sergeant. Too much. I liked him, but it's the same thing. I think that's like what all the characters, and even Carla did that a little bit too. There was just it's like, okay, this guy's like your buddy, and it's like he's your buddy 200%. This guy's Snail. This guy's the enemy, but he's crafty. 200%, like over the top. Carla, this is your friend. She kind of trusts you. She kind of doesn't trust you. 200%. Like, and so all those general character traits are just way overblown. They could have been a lot more subtle. And I think that's the problem with mech games. Because unless you see a character speaking face to face, you don't really understand their character as well. You have to take everything through dialogue only. So that's what they wanted to make sure. Maybe it's just the translation too. I don't know. But I think, yeah, there's just a lot. Man, the character development was way 200%, man. And Rusty is the king of that character. So, yeah, you're bad. I don't. The more I'm talking about, the more I don't like Rusty, to be honest. Hey, buddy. It's almost derogatory. Buddy's almost derogatory. And then when he's your enemy, he's still calling you buddy. So it's like, oh, go figure, man. The guy's got a superiority complex. So it's like you go into a place and there's some like young 20-something-year-old kid. Wherever you go, it's just some retail place or something. They go, okay, thanks, bud. It's like, bud? Okay. Want a tip or something or what? I maybe that's just in my head. I'm not big on that kind of language because it can come off as condescending. Unless I know you and you call me bud, I'm not gonna think something. But if someone goes, excuse me, buddy, that's fine. Someone calls you bud, You got a problem here or something? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's a very much. It feels very different. I don't like it, but that's kind of what I get from Rusty. He calls you buddy, and I think it's more of a bud kind of a thing he's calling you. This is there. My coffee is so good. I'm almost at 2-hour mark. Maybe I'll just upload the whole video because I'm just ranting at this point. But what else about 6? What else can I talk about 6? Multiplayer, parts aesthetic, part functionality with each other. That's okay. Dude, there's a lot I don't like about the game. I'm gonna be flat out honest. There's an awful lot I don't like about the game. It's like messing with success, dude. And I'll say Armored Core 4, Armored Core 5, they messed with success. They were successful. Mostly. And you know, that's very difficult to do. That is not something that's not easy. You can't just redo everything and have it work. Armored Core 4 did that mostly, and Armored Core 5 5th gen 100% did that. Well, no, I'd say more like 75% did that. And that's not an easy thing to accomplish. You're redesigning the whole structure of your game. Why? First off, I kind of understand the leap from 3rd to 4th gen. That makes sense. And then 4th to 5th was also kind of crazy too. But they did it. And then 6 comes out, and it's like you're gonna do it a third time. You're gonna do it a third time poorly, and by putting everything I mean, there's elements of 5th gen, there's elements of 4th gen, elements of 3rd gen, but it seems like they all kind of come from a new place, and which they're like inspired elements that actually come from like the Soul series. The turning, the movement, the attacking, the pace, the fighting pace, the health bars, bro. Or the health pots. Like, you got health pots in the game, dude. That you click to lock on. Like, it's the same game. It's the same game. They're trying to appeal to their broad audience because they think this is their shtick, but that's not your design. That's your company is not that design. Your company is the creativity with what you can do. 3rd, 4th, and 5th gens were amazing, dude. And 5th gen it feels like the future of gaming was 5th gen. I still don't doubt it. You know, combining different genres into one game that people can choose to play as. Like, what if Call of Duty had operators? And they had an operator screen just like 5 does. And they're looking and trying to call up things. And they have a base camp. Maybe it's on the map, and another enemy team can find that, and it can be really well camouflaged, and that enemy team can come up and find it and pop you. You know what I mean? These kinds of things. I guess it is kind of in it with, like, you know, the perks and stuff, the missiles, airstrikes you can call in, kind of. But that's just an example, you know. Essentially, RTS elements in a third-person or top-down style game or first-person game. That can go hard. That can go hard. And it's all about how are they going to implement it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a game designer, dude. I don't think about this stuff 24 hours a day. But you can kind of see where things are pointing. And some companies got to have big enough balls to do it. So, and I think From Software started it, and then they backed out of it for some reason. I don't know why. They absolute They absolutely left it for Dark Souls glory, which is fine. Dark Souls making the money, dude, and that's great. But look how long Armored Core's been around, how many people have been diehard fans of it, and see what needs to be fixed. 6 had plenty of advertisement and Dark Souls push behind it. If they came out with Verdict Day 2 instead of Armored Core 6, I can guarantee it would have been much better. Let me see. Let me show you something here that so less than 1,000 peak this weekend at 1,020, 1,013. Peak players 1,700. Where's that? Let's see, 1,700 like this. 1,200. Oh, was that October? That's actually higher than I thought. 1,000 players, 2,000. Those are the last, these for the month. Let's check out all time. So the peak has started. Isn't it on the top? $89,000, 15,000, 5,000, peak to 10,000 again, 4,000, 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4,000, 2,000, 4,000, 1,500, 1,200. Slowly tapering away. I don't like that. I don't like talking bad about it, but you know, that's it's just disappointing, man. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. For modern day game, it's 2025, okay? It's not. Armored Core 5 came out in 2013. Okay, and it lost Game of the Year to like, what is it, Walking Dead, the video game, which got Game of the Year. Absolutely atrocious. I can't, whoever came up with that, man, you don't belong in gaming at all. But the thing is, it's got the amount of content that Armored Core 1 had. And that alone to me is so unbelievably unacceptable that in 30 years you basically put out the same game. No, it's not. It's a different. No, dude, it's the same. It's the same level. Yeah, they went overboard on graphics. They went overboard on painting. Emblem's fine. I think they could have done a little better with the emblem making, to be honest. There was let's see, what else? What else is there? I mean, the boss fights were kind of cool. There were some signature boss fights that were cool, but you know, All Mind Air. Dude, I didn't like it. I don't like it. It felt it felt really off, dude. Really off. Bad game, no. Bad story, no. But you know what, dude? Not memorable either. not memorable, not pushing the envelope, not un. It was a little bit unique. Character development was weird. Oh yeah, the Ibis series as a boss, I forgot to mention. I guess he went reverse joint. That was weird. The underground city was probably the coolest atmospheric part of the game, because it felt like Armored Core 3 with the artificial sky. But yeah, I just extremely disappointed. I still think about it. It just upsets me, dude. It should have been so much better. It had all the advertisement, marketing, and the best runway possible for a title to come out for the game, and that's what came out. So I'm very disappointed as a long-term old burnout fan, sure, but I can't even force myself to like it, you know. I gotta remind myself that too. Every once in a while I boot it up, I gotta remind myself I don't like it. So, and I'll say it again, you know, if you enjoy 6, if you enjoy playing it and you think it's part of the series, whatever, if you're a vet, I think you're kind of hurting the series overall when you talk about it like that. But if you actually enjoy it, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing. I'm a big fan of let people enjoy things, but it's like if you like motorcycles and you like a motorcycle company and then they stop making motorcycles and they make a boat, it's like, what the hell? They're like, but it looks almost the same. It's like, no, dude, but it's not. That's what Armored Core 6 feels like. So, and I think if you've been a big fan of that motorcycle and company for a long time, and you're going, oh, I love the boat, and it's like, dude, what about the motorcycle? You know, you gotta protect your IP at a certain point. So I'm putting it all the way at F. I didn't even want to put it on the list. I kind of want to take it off, to be honest, but the only reason I put it there is because if you do like it, you do enjoy the robots, you do enjoy the customization, you like arena, you like multiplayer, that's fine, dude. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. But I think overall, it's only done damage to the entire series. And that's not news I enjoy telling you if you like 6 either. That's not something I enjoy telling you. That's more my frustration with From Software as a company. With that, they know better. If you want to make an expansion for that game, I think that's fine. I think it has enough fans so that it deserves an expansion. But I think when you release that expansion, you should also put out a statement saying, we are not going to go forward with this direction of Armored Core 6. We blew it. This was based on the concept of Armored Core. Isn't that what it says in the game description? It's based on the concept of Armored Core on the Steam description. I love that. But that's, you know, I'd say the fans of that game absolutely deserve an expansion for more parts, more missions. Maybe more of like a Ninebreaker style game, so they don't have to spend a lot of time on like story or anything else. Voice acting, you know, cinematics and all that stuff. But more just like a Ninebreaker style game where you can test your AC in missions, have all these different missions, and maybe like co-op mode to play with friends and stuff. I'm totally okay with that. You know, and I say that as a fan for other fans that want to have more in that game. People that like Armored Core 6 that want to have more in that game. I'd say they deserve something more. Give them something more. It's not going to take much for you to put out more for them. Just do it, you know. But at the same time, you put out a statement saying we are not moving forward with this genre anymore after this game. But we did want to give the fans one more thing. However, we do have ideas for another Armored Core that goes back to the original roots, something like that, and then everyone will be like, oh, okay. And even the fans would be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, maybe I should try out the old games, see how those are. You know, fans of Armored Core 6. So, yeah. You barely made it on the F only because the new players that play it, that like it, deserve this game on the list. But unfortunately, this is the correct. Trust me, if you play the old games, you would like those a lot more than you would like 6. 6 is very nice to look at, very pretty to an extent, but even the PCAs look more like Armored Cores than the actual Armored Cores. Maybe not, but kinda. You know what I mean? They definitely feel like more from the Armored Core universe than the actual Armored Cores. Most of the Armored Cores, I should say. There are a couple designs I like. Milk Tooth design. I love that design. But my friend brought up a good point. It looks like Bastion from Overwatch. Just like the other one, the other design looks like Wally. Or Rob the Robot from Nintendo. Unbelievable, dude. Unfreaking believable. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. This is the correct list. So you can like and share and give to all your friends, and you can go ahead and argue about how correct it is on X or in the comments here. But this is a long rant, but I figure why not? You know, hopefully you're enjoying your Monday. If you're stuck on a job site or need something to listen to, hopefully this was not too bad to listen to in the background. So anyways, hope the rest of you guys can get through the rest of your week and have a good rest of your day. All right, peace.